Hi everyone, welcome to a new Begijnhoeve special. My name is Rob and today I'm going to try to help you find the right stallion for your mare. So step one, if you want to go and start breeding, is what is your breeding goal? Many breeders want to sell their foal, so that could also be a goal. You can also keep your horse, of course, for yourself, that's two. Three is you can breed a really top young horse, so maybe you want to sell it as a young horse. Or four, that's what we do, that's the complicated one of course, is try to breed a top sport horse, like going to the Grand Prix and try to win of course. Those four types of breeding, you have to decide what your goal will be. So the second step is that you're going to have a look at your mare. Maybe your mare went to a mare selection and then the stud books say what they think of your mare. So then you know the plus and the downsides of your mare a little bit already. If you ride with your mare, you also have information. Maybe your mare has troubles in the canter to collect. Maybe she has difficulty in relaxing in the walk. Maybe she's very spooky. There are some points which you think you can improve. So, and that's all only for you to decide. But it's your horse and it's what you feel. So it's your opinion, of course. And that's very important in breeding, that you develop your own vision about your mare. And of course, you want to use your mare for breeding. So she's probably a very good mare. And she has some plus sides as well. And maybe in the selection of your stallion, it's easier if you know your plus sides as well, because if a stallion is less good in that part, your mare can compensate that part. So if I want to give you an example that it's really important to have your own vision, I can give you the example of Dolly. When she was a young horse, she got 10s for her canter. Like everyone was, wow, amazing. So the mare committee was, it's a 10. And then I trained this horse and I trained her to small tour level. But the canter was quite difficult. It was a little bit downhill and she had troubles in the pirouettes and that kind of stuff. So the canter was not ideal. It was not a 10 at all. So that's what I mean, that you have to develop your own vision when you ride your own mare. What's also very important to know is the health of your mare. Or even better, what's the health of the offspring of your mare if you already bred with her before. You have x-rays, but also for the tendon in her back or whatever, if she has troubles in her health system, then you should know and write it down. Also, what is very important is the dam line. Does your mare have sisters and brothers who are doing very good in sports? Or maybe a little bit before the grandmother? Are there troubles in there maybe? Or are there very good combinations with other types of stallions? So step 3 is how to pick a stallion. I tried to make a schedule to make it easier to pick a stallion. I'm gonna have an imaginary mare now, and we call her Bertha. And Bertha is a Jazz Contango, a nice bloodline. It's a very good mare and you want to breed with her. I'm thinking about 4 stallions. Of course you have your preferences. So put the stallions together, which stallions you like. And then we make a schedule and try to have a really rational look which stallion might fit best on your mare, on the goals you have as a breeder. So you can have a different stallion if your goal is to sell the horse as a foal, and you can have a different stallion that could be better if your goal is to do a Grand Prix with your own horse. So we have Bertha. First, if you want to have a look at the stallions, you have to look at the inbreed. I mean, Bertha is a Jazz Contango, so there's lots of jazz, of course, in the stallions. So you have to watch out that the jazz is not too close in the stallions. So I picked 4 stallions now, just as an example, and the stallions I like also. The first one is a young one, it's Finch of Andreas Helgstrand. I talked about him a few vlogs ago. A very good stallion. The second one is Secret. Secret, everybody knew about the video a few years ago, and they marketed really well, and everybody was talking about him, and he did really well at the World Young Horse Championships. The third is Vitalis, also a very well-known stallion. And the fourth is Desperado. Well, Desperado and Vitalis are a little bit alike. They have the same sire, Vivaldi, but also they have their differences. So I think it could be interesting to put them side by side. So with inbreeds, Finch Hatton does not have Jazz or Contango in his bloodlines whatsoever. Secret is Sezuan. Sezuan is Zek. Zek is Rousseau and also Jazz. So there's a little tiny bit of inbreed in Secret, but not so much. Also Vitalis and Desperado have Vivaldi as a sire. Vivaldi is crack Jazz, so also Jazz a little bit in their pedigree, but I think still far away, so you could still use this stallion. But it's very important to look at the inbreed first, because otherwise the fertility goes down, and if you want to use your foal for a stallion selection later on or a mare selection, the stallion or mare could be less interesting because the inbreed is too high. So, back to Bertha. You first have to write down her downsides. Well, Bertha is a bitch because Bertha is a Jazz Contango, so Bertha is probably not so easy. So rideability could be a thing. Also her walk is not ginormous, so she has a bit of a short walk. She's also not so tall, so her height could be better. I mean, I prefer horses who are very tall because I'm also tall, so maybe that's a little bit subjective, but still. Also her refinement could be a little bit better because Bertha is a little bit butch because of the Contango in her, so she could be a little bit more refined as well. So write all those points down in the negative parts. Then if you're finished, write down the positive parts of your horse, mare. So with Bertha, she has a very active hind legs, typically the Contango as well. She has an enormous amount of energy and power in her canter, and she's very correct in her leg position, so very straight. And that's also very important because many stallions have legs like this or this, and the risk on injuries is getting more and more through the years. So maybe if you use a stallion with this or this and you want to sell him as a foal, then it's less of a risk because as a foal you don't have injuries. But if you want to breed a top sport horse, you have to take a look at the foundations of the stallion and of course of your own mare, because the chance for you to get injuries will get bigger if the correctness is less good. So now you know your plus and downsides of your mare and you all put them together. So now we're going to have a look at the stallions. We saw the inbreed already, and then now first the rideability. Finch Hatton, Secret, Vitalis and Desperado all have very good rideability. So all plus, 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 plus. No problem at all. The walk is a little different. Finch Hatton has a walk it could be sometimes a little bit more relaxed. Of course it's only a 4-year-old, so you don't have so much information about this stallion yet. So maybe it's not the best decision for this mare, but it's plus minus, let's say. Secret has an amazing walk, Vitalis has a good walk, Desperado also has an amazing walk. The height, all those 4 stallions have good heights. Vitalis maybe is the smallest between the 4, but they're all tall stallions. The refinement of Finch Hatton and Secret is also very good. So sometimes Vitalis offspring does not have as much appearance if the mare does not have enough refinement. So that's a liability of Vitalis in that part. Desperado sometimes miss a little bit of appearance, but most of the time they're very beautiful horses. Health part of Finch Hatton, it's just a question mark. You don't know. It's a 4-year-old. You have no idea what his offspring will bring. Secret, it's a little bit of the same. The oldest secret offsprings will turn 3, I think, this year. But you still don't know how he's breeding. And there are some question marks about Secret himself, if he's really healthy or not. So you just don't know. So it's also a liability. Vitalis has lots of offspring, lots of champions. He's very, very successful as a breeding stallion. There are healthy Vitalises, there are less healthy Vitalis offspring. It's not like Vitalis is breeding extremely healthy. So it's just a plus because he has lots of offspring and you know a little bit what he's doing, but it's not enormously great or something. Desperado, his offspring is pretty healthy. He has a very high OC index. I told you in a video before that the OC index, how higher the index is, the better the stallion is breeding in the health part. So I think Desperado has an index of 104. 100 is average, so 104 is much better than average. For Vitalis, Secret and Finch Hatton, you just don't know the OC index. It's not known. So Desperado is the only one that you have information of. So now we go to the plus sides of your mare, and she had really great activity in her hind legs. So yeah, she was a very powerful mare, so that's perfect. Well, all these 4 stallions do not have the greatest activity in their hind legs. So they all fit a mare with a very active hind leg because they have lots of cadence and lots of suppleness in their movements, but they lack a little bit of power in their hind legs, in my opinion. The canter of these 4 stallions, Finch Hatton has a great canter, Secret has a ginormous canter, it's like jaw-dropping, Vitalis has an okay canter, it's good, and Desperado has also a very good canter, but he has some trouble still in the Grand Prix with the relaxations, but I think the canter is very good after all. The correctness of the stallions, Finch Hatton, I don't know. For me, it's a question mark. I don't know how correct he is. For Secret, I know there are some question marks around him if he is correct or not. So you should take notice if your mare is not really correct, that you should reconsider if you want to use Secret, in my opinion. Vitalis his offspring is pretty correct, and Desperado is also pretty correct. So now you have your list, and your breeding goal is to sell your horse as a foal. So you want to sell him in an auction or something. It's pretty good when you have a young stallion, a sexy stallion, you know, that everybody's talking about. So a horse like Desperado is a little bit older. So maybe it's not the best decision to use Desperado in this case. Maybe now Secret could be a very good decision if you want to sell your horse as a foal out of Bertha. So if you put everything together and your goal is to breed a Grand Prix horse or a top sport horse, maybe from these 4, Desperado is a better decision because he's checking all the boxes, sort of speak. So there are not so much minuses where your mare has her minuses. Also, Desperado is the only stallion that's also in Grand Prix himself. So the information you have is that he's able to do the job. So to sum it up for you: 1. Know your goal as a breeder. 2. Know your mare, the plus and the downsides. You have to have a really critical eye for your mare. And 3 is that you make a schedule of the stallions you like and the improvements that you want. Above all, it is very important that this is my vision, and the most fun part in breeding is that you can follow your own vision. You use a male and a female and you can do whatever you want. So I hope you liked this video about breeding. If you have any more questions, just leave something below in the comments, and please don't forget to subscribe.